Part 2 ending of Not Friends with You. Part 1 down below. We are separated right now, but still living together. I refuse to leave my house. If she wants to sleep on the couch, so be it. She won't move out and says that I'm crazy and she hasn't cheated. Yet, when I suggested doing a 23andMe test on the baby, just to see what the results would be, this was before everything blew up. She immediately shut it down, saying it was a waste of money, didn't want to have that information out there, even though we've all already done them, for fun. She says she changed her mind and wouldn't do it again because of privacy. In reality, it is because it will show that soon-to-be-born baby is half something other than me. At this point, I don't even know if it is the co-workers. She will not tell me who that message was really from. At first, she said it was none of my business and that she didn't respond to it. Then she said it was from her ex, who fathered her oldest child. I asked him about it when he showed up to pick up their kid, and he said it was not from him. It doesn't make sense being from him anyway. They are in regular contact. They have a damn kid together. They had a relationship 15 years ago at 15. That's not the kind of relationship feeling vibe I was getting. That is not his number or area code, and I've called the number numerous times. There is no personal voicemail message that says the name. I had an answer once and was immediately hung up on. My number was blocked after that, called from different numbers and blocked numbers which were ignored. All my wife does is cry. She won't admit that she's screwed around for God knows how long. She knows I am doing a DNA test on that baby when she's born. She says to go ahead and do it, like I'm just supposed to decide not to. When is the trickle-trothing supposed to start? It's been about 2 weeks. Thus far she has stuck to her guns that she would never cheat. Why am I being like this? She put a new hard drive in her laptop recently. I saw the purchase on our Amazon account. I learned earlier this year that at work they have a program to chat with co-workers about work-related crap. That is going to be how she has been chatting to some bum. I'll never have access to that. I sent in DNA tests of our other kids. Hopefully I'll have those results soon. We married because she was pregnant, unplanned. For all I know, that isn't even my child and she just stuck me with paternity. She's hid it well but messed up. We're approaching a marriage of 10 years. A joke. I'm getting ready to serve her divorce papers. I'm meeting with a lawyer next week. I want to know who has been sleeping with my wife, for how long and how many of my kids he fathered. My wife had her ex do a paternity test on their kid after he was born. She says it was because he was uncooperative. I'm betting it's because she had no clue who the father was and tested a lineup of men. Or her ex demanded it because he knew she was a bee. Wish I could have the kids taken away from her completely. Yelling isn't getting my anywhere. She knows that I'm going to leave her. She knows that I know. So why can't she just admit to screwing around? All she says over and over is that she has never cheated, would never do that, doesn't want a divorce. We need to go to counseling. She swears she has never cheated yet won't tell me who that text was really from. She won't tell me why her coworker is calling her honey and asking when she will be there to see him. She claims he calls everyone honey. Sure, he does. She claims that he asked when she would be there because she was meeting him at work and the building was locked. The calls were on the weekend, when their work is closed, but sometimes pharmacists do have to go in for on-call emergencies. She never has needed to. I told her that I have hard proof that she cheated, lie technically I guess, and if she wants any chance at saving this marriage and me not telling anyone and everyone that she's a bee, that she needs to come clean. Still claims she has never cheated. It's like she thinks I'm an idiot. Well, I am. I married her and kept my fogged-up goggles on for 10 damn years. To me that text proves she has had at least one affair, for a long time. And the idiot did something bad that he continues to feel bad for. Maybe like knocking her up and dumping her. That seems to fit in with it all. He knew she was married. He mentioned me. What kind of piece of crap someone else's wife, let alone knocks her up, at least once, and makes another man raise it. Both of their reactions are very telling. I'm going to hire a PI. I want to know exactly who the hell he is. See how many people she has been screwing. She's trying to protect him so much. I want both of their lives to be blown up. I wonder what lie she will tell when the DNA test comes back that I'm not the father. Toilet seat. 1. I'm looking up PI in my area as I type this. I'll be making contact Monday morning. 2. DNA tests on my kids are done. I'm getting a DNA test on the baby as soon as she is born. My wife has an appointment tomorrow. Think I'll go and make damn sure they know what's going on. 3. STD testing should be next on my list. You're right. I'll demand one of her as well. Not like she will do it, even though she claims she will do anything to make me believe her. Anything but tell me who the text was from, why a coworker is calling her honey, explain the secrecy, and 50 million other things. 4. You know, I was against polygraph tests, but now I'm thinking I should do it. Screw it. Humiliate her. If I can find one, that's going to be a requirement of staying together. I know she will fail it. Bet she will try to lie her way out of that too. 5. I'm pretty sure her workplace has it in the contract that they cannot engage in physical relationships with each other. End both of their jobs there. His kid or not, it's clear they are sleeping around. 6. If I can legally have her served at work, I want to do that. Has it done in front of everyone. The OM there will see and know exactly what is going on. Generally, they are mailed or sent to the other party's lawyer, but if I can have her served at work, it's happening. 7. A co-worker is not married, from what I've found out. He's divorced or never married, as a kid. The other man, no idea, but based on the secrecy I'm guessing he is. And I'm also betting his wife wouldn't be too happy to read that text about his irreplaceable relationship with my wife. 8. I want everything and everyone to be blown up. The damn laptop, in the damn dryer. We have 2 sets of washer, dryers, one is in use and the other isn't. When we bought the house it already had a set, we had a set as well, and we kept both. I found the laptop inside the drum of the unused dryer. But she has nothing to hide. I didn't know her password, she changed it from the password she uses to use, our cat's name. I reset the password on her computer. She was notified about it, but since she was at work it didn't matter. I found nothing. No pictures, no notes, no emails. I couldn't access her work email but have since then, and there was nothing there. Her work uses a program for communication. I found an email address in her saved usernames and passwords for Hotmail and Outlook. It was a man's name, not her co-worker. I tried it on Facebook but didn't find anything. My wife said her computer stores emails randomly, ones that she types in for something else. Sure, nothing in her internet history. She didn't have the box ticked to clear saved usernames and passwords, though. Out of 4 DNA tests, and her having been sleeping with someone else, there has to be a high chance of at least one of them coming back as not mine. Maybe she already knows somehow or knows the chances. If she was confident though, she would have agreed to the DNA tests on our kids and would want to do a prenatal DNA test to clear this up before the baby comes. If she has warned him that I know, and I'm sure she has, I don't know what story I'd use to get him to meet. I'd expect him to want to call and confirm. Based on the text, they hadn't talked for a long time and she didn't respond to that text from what I could see, and she said that she didn't. Maybe replying to that text is a starting point. For all I know though, she has replied to him in some other way, email, calling from work. I'll have to think on it. If he is using a burner phone, can I figure out who he is? That would be a prepaid phone. She doesn't know that I have followed her at lunch. It might be the only thing that she doesn't know. She has gone to the same parking garage 27 times. I tried following her in, where she parks as cardholder only. She has no need to be a cardholder, I doubt it is her card. I've walked in and found her car empty. I couldn't wait around long enough to see if she came back with anyone. The GPS tracker I have shown her leave 50 to 72 minutes later. Her lunch break is an hour, so she has gone back to work late. Not only is the OM more important than me, our marriage and our family, but also more important than her job. The area code is about 4 hours away. It could be further, as it extends quite far. Statistically, based on the major city in that area, it would be about 4 hours away. So, her taking off on her lunch breaks to the same place every single time doesn't add up 100%. Not to meet him, anyway. Whatever she has on there, I haven't been able to find. I know there is something. Why else would she hide it, let alone in the dryer? I'm not sure where her old hard drive is, or if it was even broken. I have a suspicion that she trashed the other hard drive to completely hide whatever she was hiding. The DNA test, I have told her to get the test done, she won't. Her reasoning is that the test costs around $12. Results can take 2 weeks. She is due in 4 weeks and might be induced sooner, and she doesn't want the stress of me acting this way. We all know the real reason she doesn't want to have the test done. She doesn't want to be dumped on the corner right before she gives birth. If she knew without a doubt that I was the father and had nothing to hide, she'd fork over the money to do it and get it over with before the birth. I am meeting with a lawyer this week to file for divorce. That doesn't mean I don't want to know who she has been, what she has been doing, who fathered the kids, and rip her a new one. I don't want to ever regret my decision of divorcing her or wonder what ifs. I like the suggestion of having my lawyer request the DNA test. I want it in writing that I am not signing for parental rights until I have the results in my hand. Where we live, nothing is signed in the hospital. It is done at home online. In theory, my wife could fill out that I agree to paternity. She did for our third because I didn't care. It would be illegal and forging consent, but there would be no proof of that since it's just a click of a button and typing your name. So, I want it in writing that I have not signed anything. Can she tamper with the DNA results? Have one of our other kids tested that she knows I fathered? I should demand that I'm present for the DNA swabs to be done. The calls and texts from that number were from this year, January 2018. Twice on Jan. 1st, then again on the 2nd, 5th and 9th. All incoming calls. The text was on the 9th. I couldn't recover any other texts to or from that number, but she hasn't had that phone for too long. Is it acceptable to message the man my wife is sleeping with, and that man's wife? Or am I acting on rage that I am going to regret later? The text and the parking spot belong to the same person. My wife is a bee. There is nothing else to figure out. It's all smacking me in the face. She has spent years sleeping with this man. They are not friends on Facebook, but clearly used to be because there is evidence of him all over the place. He has liked or commented on photos that she has posted as far back as 2007, which predates us as a couple. The text and parking spot both belong to him. This week alone she went there twice. If I would have followed her, I guarantee she'd have gone to the condos attached to the parking garage. The phone number is registered in a town 4 hours away and the man's Facebook profile says he lives there, yet he has a parking spot in my city. Is he such a tool that he has a condo just to sleep with married women? Speaking of marriage, the man is married. My wife is such a bee that she's sleeping with a married man. As if ruining one marriage and one family wasn't enough, she's going for twice the destruction. His Facebook profile says he is married and has been since 2014. His wife's newest profile picture was uploaded February 26th and is a maternity picture. Looks like they have another child as well. Our 3 children are mine, but that is luck of the draw at this point. I haven't told her that I have the results. I'm going to tell her I know that one of them isn't mine. I have proof and see how she reacts. I doubt she will be surprised. Unless she is surprised that 2 of the 3 are mine. She's a bee. That baby is not going to be mine. I can feel it. We tried for 2 damn years to get pregnant. She was probably doing something to prevent it. She is so against a DNA test for that baby that it's obvious it's not mine. She has continued to see this man throughout her pregnancy, which makes it more obvious. I doubt he'd want anything to do with her if she was pregnant by me rather than himself. This all became glaringly obvious after she became pregnant, and especially after a few months, which is coincidentally when she had prenatal testing done for genetic defects, Downs, etc. She probably already had a DNA test done on that baby or it showed up with a bad gene. So, she's sleeping with this man, and a man from her work. Who else is banging my wife? Thank God I've met with a lawyer and have started the process of divorcing my wife. It makes me sick even calling her my wife now. I want nothing to do with that woman. Don't ever get married, folks. Women are just a bunch of bee who will screw any man over. I'm messaging this guy and his wife. The trash who uses to be my wife can find her bags on the front lawn after her shift on Monday. I don't know what the text was about, the context behind it, or what was up with the timing. At this point, I'm not sure I give a crap either. It doesn't add up. No, I put more weight in the fact that she is meeting him than a text. We have a 3-week-old daughter, who is my biological daughter. My wife will not speak a word to me. I wasn't present at my daughter's birth. I didn't want to be there. I am not on her birth certificate. I didn't hold her until she was 2 weeks old and I had the DNA results back. My wife has muttered that she wants the divorce to go through. She plans on moving out. After our daughter was born, I called, messaged, texted the man whose parking spot she uses. I messaged his wife as well, who saw the messages but didn't respond. Her husband did after I contacted her. His response was, "You don't know your wife very well, do you?" Yes, I have had slept with her 13 years ago. And no, I am not the father of X or any of her other children. Go talk to your wife. You have been with her for 10 years, for God's sake. It's not my story to tell. Talk to your wife, man, or keep believing that I'm sleeping with her. Last night he messaged me this. Listen, I don't know how you've gone 10 years without knowing a thing about your wife, but here it goes. I grew up with your wife. From age 3 to 18 she was my best friend. We were inseparable. She was X when she was 13. That is where every struggle she has stems from. She was my best friend and I was there for her through all of her challenges. I was young and stupid and believed if I loved her enough, I could fix her and cure her pain. We started a relationship at 15, when she was pregnant with. She thought promiscuity would give her back a sense of control over her body. She didn't know who her son's father was and I filled that role for 2 years. We broke up because it was more than I could handle or wanted to handle. Towards the end of our relationship, I treated her very poorly because I was trying to detach myself and her. I joined the army and didn't tell her until the day I was leaving and ended our relationship. I hurt her immensely, and her son, as to him I was his dad, is seeing a therapist, one of the best for ex-therapists in the country. The building across from the parking garage is full of office buildings. Her therapist and psychiatrist are in that building. That spot is in my name because I had the connections to get her into that practice. I have always made sure she had the access to go, partly due to guilt. Why she hasn't told you is on you and her, not me. The reason she has been going more often is for her to tell you. You read too far into that text, man. Talk to your wife. Hey, how are you? I know it's been a long time since we last talked, years. I haven't forgotten about what I did, and I want to apologize for it. I know I was a prick. I treated her very poorly at the end of our relationship. Ended it poorly. It's probably the furthest thing from your mind now, but regardless, I'm sorry for the way I acted. I was immature, emotional, and handled the situation terribly, the way I chose to break up with her and how I handled her trauma. It's crazy to think about how close we were. We were close, inseparable friends. How much I loved you. We were together for 3 years, and where we are now, strangers. What I had with you is irreplaceable, our friendship and bond. I want to apologize for our last day, when I ended our relationship. Emotions got the best of me and my reaction was terrible. The way I acted the day I was breaking up with her and how I decided to end the relationship. I get emotional now just thinking about it. I sincerely hope that things are better for you. She struggled after being ex. You deserve it. I have been thinking about you lately. I have every year at this time, but didn't want to bother you. Date I ended our relationship. Anniversary of being ex. I know that I'm not your person anymore. I truly hope that you have found that in your husband and have stopped internalizing everything. So many memories come flooding back. I imagine it is the same for you, and unfortunately most are not good memories. About how much we struggled after she was ex, how she reacted to our breakup. I really hope that you all are doing well. I am so sorry for everything. So sorry. From things within my control and for the things totally out of my control. If I could fix it all or do it better, I would. I wish I could have supported you better rather than simply try and fix it. I thought if I loved her enough, I could fix her. I wish I could have always been there for you. Maybe it's for the better that I couldn't. I'd love to hear how you are doing, if that's something you'd be interested in. If not, I hope you are doing well and wish you the best. I really do mean that. If you don't want to catch up, I'll take the hint and won't bother you again. It has been a long time and maybe there is too much water under the bridge. It's understandable. Either way, I sincerely hope you are doing well and I'm sorry. Who thinks that is believable and not simply a method of getting out of trouble from his wife? I have not talked to my wife about it, seeing as she will not speak to me about anything. What he has said does not match up with what my wife has told me over the years regarding her past. She was never ex, nor was she in a relationship after her son was born and she was with her son's father and not sleeping around. She has never mentioned a best friend to me. She wouldn't be seeing a therapist 18 years later, and if she were, she would surely be talking to me about it, not letting me think she's having an affair. He didn't respond to me until after I contacted his wife, which makes me assume it is a cover-up, who has no desire to contact me. In terms of verifying his story, I haven't done much. I don't have the energy to play detective and my thoughts may as well be in Mandarin because I cannot comprehend them. I'm set on divorce, then this comes along and shakes me up enough to second-guess myself. I did search what offices are in the building mentioned, and there is an ex-counselor there who appears to be highly rated. This is a large city with a lot of street parking and underground parking. There is no lot designated solely to that building. Street parking is expensive and hard to find. We are in Canada and our insurance works differently. I have never seen any insurance forms or bills, however, we don't always get them. When I have used our insurance, I've never had anything other than a bill saying what they paid and what I paid. Our insurance covers 80%, and I have seen no transactions on her debit withdrawals. Our insurance is through her work, because she had a far better plan and rate, pharmacy worker. I have been with my wife for 10 years. Why would she have stayed married to me if she felt so insecure that she couldn't tell me anything about her past? If his cover-up is true, then she lied about everything. I think you are the one overreacting by saying I'm going to become violent. That came out of nowhere. I am not happy with the situation our kids are living in right now, but at the moment it is the way that it is. So, I'm either married to a liar or a cheat, or both. Our physical life is non-existent. Prior to that it was not great. We didn't sleep together often, once a week at the very most, and it was poor quality. No interest from her, no effort, rushed, detached. Pretending his cover-up is true, things that don't add up. Why was she hiding her phone? Why was she clearing off her phone before I used it? Why would she take her phone everywhere with her, even when it didn't make sense to do so? Why was she hiding her laptop every day before work in the dryer? Why wouldn't she ever let me use her laptop? If she was using it in bed, she'd sit at the end of the bed, so I couldn't see the screen. She made a separate profile, one with a password I knew and one that I didn't know. Why did she replace the hard drive, then stop hiding it? Why has she never, in 10 years, mentioned him? Why did she rewrite her history? Why did he call her 5 times in 9 days in January? Why did she tell me that text was from her ex-son's father? Why did she not want me to clean and organize the house, so I wouldn't find anything? Why am I blocked on Facebook by her ex and his wife? If they were best friends, why are they no longer friends on Facebook? Why would she let our marriage get to this point rather than tell me the truth? I looked through my stepson's baby book, lots of pictures of him, some of my wife and him, none of any man. The tone of the conversation we had, a bit more than what was posted, seemed like he was protecting her and I was solely to blame for her not telling me. And I'm sure there is more that I cannot recall right now, things that could add up. All of our kids, minus my stepson, are biologically mine, DNA tested. I don't have hardcore proof, like seeing her sleep with someone else, seeing it plainly written in a text or email, or said in a phone call, of an affair. That's it. That can be accomplished by excellent lying skills, which she has either way, and luck of the draw. Really thinking about it, he was best friends with my wife. 4. He has a footprint all over her Facebook page starting in 2007, however that is after they broke up badly. Against, she has never mentioned him and he doesn't fit into the history she gave me. My wife was ex when she was 13. 4. And I'm stretching here, she doesn't have male friends. She doesn't like to be around my male friends. Against, she has never mentioned it to me. I have never had a suspicion that she was ex. He dated my wife from age 15 to 18, give or take. 4. Nothing. Against, my wife was in a relationship with her son's father at 15 and did not have a relationship after or before him. Again, she has never mentioned him. He played daddy for 2.5 years because the real father was unknown. 4. Nothing. Against, my wife was dating the father when she got pregnant. They broke up because he didn't want to be a father. She took him to court for child support and a DNA test was court mandated when he was a baby. She knows who the father is. He sees my stepson. In further conversation, my wife's ex said when they were together, she didn't know. No 15-year-old would play daddy to some other kid, nor would parents let him. There are no pictures of him in the baby book. She slept around and didn't know who the baby daddy was. 4. Fits her character now. Against, she told me she was with the father. The father is in his life and has been for at least 10 years, how long I've been around. Son is 15. She was promiscuous before they started a relationship. 4. Fits her character now. Against, she has no interest in bonding. She doesn't like friends that sleep around. She wouldn't go sleeping around after being ex, that is just stupid. Her ex joined the military and left her and her son. 4. Nothing. Against, she has never mentioned it, nor has her son. 2.5 is young, but he could have some memory of him. She is seeing a therapist equals reason she parks there. 4. It could be possible. Highly unlikely but possible. The time she is there averages 60 minutes, 50 to 70 minutes, which would be an appointment length. Against, she has never mentioned it. I have never seen a bill or payment from her account. It has been 18 years since the ex. My stepson's father and I are not at a level that we would talk. He sees his son 1 to 2 weekends a month. I am going to try and have a conversation with him. Surely, he will know whether he was in a relationship, if someone else was dad and when he took over the role. Her family will also know. I just have to figure out how to word the conversation before talking to them. I think I'm going to have a conversation with her family, possibly the only people who know the truth. She was 15 when she had her son and living at home. They would have seen it all play out. Even if that story is true, it doesn't rule out cheating. I still suspect she is sleeping with him. He left that bit out, for his wife's sake. Instead of totally throwing her under the bus to save his marriage, he fabricated a story with just the right number of details to throw off his wife. I would never get sole custody. I know it and she know it. The laws here give both parents 50-50 custody unless one parent doesn't want it or there is solid proof that a parent is dangerous, etc. As much as I'd like to threaten her, we both know it's not going to happen. I have considered writing something up for her though, with everything he told me and all of her lies. The only thing holding me back is I don't want her to rehearse and memorize the story. If she doesn't know that's what he told me, she might decide going with it is easier than admitting to having an affair. I am planning on talking to her family and will ask them to verify his story. She lived at home during that time period that he claims to have been in her life. They'd know. How I'm going to approach or word that conversation, I have not decided. I should clarify, I have filed for divorce and she is aware that I have filed. The best $167 I've spent. I could stop the proceeding if something comes up, highly doubt that, yet I'm second-guessing myself. We have to be separated for 12 months before a divorce is finalized, no fault. The exception to this rule is if divorce is filed under the grounds of adultery or cruelty, at fault, both of which apply. However, my lawyer encourages me not to pursue those options because they require evidence, not just suspicion, are more costly and take longer. It would have been nice to take her adultery and mental cruelty to court and have her friends serve the papers as well. The 12-month separation period does not begin until we are living under different roofs, so right now we are in limbo. My wife wants to move out. I'm not going anywhere. I have been advised not to leave the house. I am meeting with my lawyer on Friday to draft a separation agreement. Courts favor mothers with newborns, so the downside is that I'm not going to see the baby as much as the other 3 kids. To be honest, I'm not bonded to her at all right now. I prepared myself too much for her not to be mine. I won't have custody of my stepson, and he's heard enough from his dad not being more involved, but my door will always be open to him. We have 5 kids, including my stepson. She's always going to be in my life whether I like it or not. Unless something crazy happens, I will be divorced from my wife in the next 18 months, hopefully. I think we are both unintentionally doing the 180, from what I've read about it. She won't talk to me. I've given up on trying to talk to her. We don't sleep in the same room. We're invisible to each other. I don't care what she does and she doesn't seem to care what I do. The most I've gotten out of her is a year of B, when I purposely left a dating site open so she'd see it. Wasn't actually looking, just wanted to piss her off. As soon as she is out of this house, I don't plan on having anything to do with her, aside from divorce and kids. I don't think her family knows that we are divorcing. They are religious and judgmental. She has messed up enough in their eyes, teenage pregnancy. No one in her family has divorced. They sit around being miserable instead. She didn't have anyone at the hospital when she gave birth, as far as I know. I am going to talk to her family and do have to word and approach it the right way. Probably matter of fact, pretending I know it's the truth. I know her parents told her that no one would ever marry her after having an unwed teen pregnancy. I don't imagine there is anything that her family can say that will change my mind on the divorce. Either way, I don't trust her, she doesn't trust me, and we have nothing left. Knowing the truth is to feed my own curiosity and to try and shut down my second guessing. Is another PI really worth it at this point? How much info can they find out? I did call the therapist office she apparently goes to and tried to cancel her next appointment. as a verification that she goes there, but the response from the receptionist is that only patients could change appointments. Frankly, I don't feel like my wife isn't worth spending more money on for more pie hours. If I do it, I'm not doing it for her, I'm doing it for me. One thing that I'm not looking forward to is my wife seeing other men. I don't know who her would have, 31 with 5 kids, but some scumbag probably would. I don't care who is with her, good riddance, I care about who is around my kids. The type of man who would be interested in a woman like my wife isn't someone I'd want around my kids. That may be the most challenging part of all of this. If his story is true, which I highly doubt, then why even tell me? Why tell a cover-up story if there is nothing to cover up? In a paragraph I didn't include the gist of it was to stay away from his wife or else, he said his wife knew everything. I have a strong marriage and my wife knows better than to put faith in what you are telling her. She knows what is going on currently and my history with Vanessa. We have no need for secrets in our marriage. So why tell me? Why decide to contact me back? Seeing as he said my wife would be better off without me, why try to snap me out of it? Let's pretend my wife was X at 13 for a second. Why would she confide in at least one person, her boyfriend, but not another, her husband? Why would she be this affected almost 2 decades later, but not affected enough to stop her from sleeping around? You really think she wouldn't slip up in 10 years? She has never had issues with bonding, she simply doesn't want to put in the effort for me. Prior to July of last year, there was no signs of her being traumatized. Our bonding life has always been the same. Am I supposed to ignore everything that is not adding up? Aside from words, there is nothing to prove that is true. She made the decisions that led me to be absent from our daughter's birth. All she had to do was tell me the truth and I would have been there. I wasn't going to support her through a birth of someone else's child, and she had no desire to tell me or prove me otherwise. If she wasn't having an affair, why let me believe she was? I sent in the paperwork to be added to my daughter's birth certificate. To my knowledge, my wife does not know that her friend contacted me and told me this story. I have not spoken to her about it yet. I am speaking with her family tomorrow, and I will see what they say. If this story is true and she has never had an affair, how does a marriage even come back from this level of damage? My lawyer has not seen what he sent me. It was written that contacting him or his wife again would be harassment. I have another appointment on Friday, and I can bring it with me then. I filed for a no-fault divorce because it's easier, cheaper, and quicker. In Canada, it is called an examination for discovery. I don't think it would apply to my divorce because it is at fault. Here, custody is always 50-50 unless there is proof that a parent is unfit. Just saying they are unfit or making crap up is not good enough. I will speak to my lawyer about it, however. I don't think she has even seen a lawyer. One thing that was in the other write-up was yearbooks. It reminded me that she has her high school yearbooks at her parents' house. She has a few boxes there of memorabilia and I know her yearbooks are in them. Personally, my high school yearbooks were simply one picture of each student and that's it. I have never looked at hers, they could be different. I'm not going to change my entire outlook on a picture, but it did remind me that they are there. I will reconsider hiring the PI again. I do not want to regret my decision down the road, though I feel like regardless of the outcome our marriage is done. She is completely unwilling to work with me on anything. I will contact the PI again and talk about what I need. If our physical life is directly related to her affair, then she has been having an affair for our whole marriage. We have never had a strong physical life. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised by an emotional affair that turned physical. A quick breakdown of our insurance. Our insurance is through my wife's employer. I'm going to have to be removed. She pays $60 divided by month for coverage for our family. That covers 80% of therapies, services, medications, etc. We walk in for an appointment. The bill is saying $100. We pay $20 and walk out. We are not billed, mailed anything. No deductible. There are caps on some services. A total spent, dental is $25 a year for each person. Looking at our agreement, there is no limit on therapies. Looking at the pricing from that therapist, if my wife were going there, she would be paying $45 for each visit. $40 that wouldn't be a problem. However, I haven't seen any payments on her debit and I haven't seen any statements showing the payments. So possible that she is going to a therapist 1, 2, sometimes 3 times a week. Yes, I guess it's possible. More likely than another man being interested in her while pregnant. I think it depends on whether or not he thought he was the father. I have not discussed my wife's ex with her yet. I am speaking with her parents today and based on what they say I will talk to her. One more time, then I'm done. If they confirm none of that is true, and they will know, then I will know the BS story was a lie and cover-up. I don't know who the alleged rapist is. Her friend wouldn't tell me because it's not his story to tell. They probably didn't iron out that detail. I met with my wife's mother today and walked away with more questions than answers it seems. I thought it would help, and it did on one hand, but on the other hand it didn't. Part of me wanted her to tell me that it was all complete BS. It would make my life easier. My 1049 confirmed that my wife was very close to the OM in their childhoods and they were in a relationship from the time she was pregnant until around high school graduation. He asked my wife's father if he could marry her. Her parents did not approve of them dating. When she got pregnant, Her parents didn't know she had a boyfriend and wouldn't have allowed her to have one. She was seeing a boy at her high school, my stepson's father, and got pregnant. Her parents advised her not to tell the father or be involved with him. She was pulled out of school for the last term and went back after the baby was born. The father was not in the picture. Her parents didn't agree with finding the father. They said she was about 20. She said my wife was never ex but did try to tell them she was touched by a family friend. They looked into it and found nothing. She admitted to lying because she wanted to stay at a friend's house rather than his house when her parents went on a trip. She thought my wife was 14 when she made that accusation. My wife has a couple boxes of memorabilia at her parents' house. I looked through it and did find baby pictures of my stepson with the OM and some family pictures with my wife in them as well. There was a folder of court documents regarding the DNA test and custody of her stepson and his biological father. Based on the date it was finalized, my stepson would have been almost 4. I recognized the box housing the pictures. It uses to be in our closet. The court documents technically match the timeline, but that was only the date things were finalized. Custody battles can take years, so it doesn't actually prove anything. What I have proven part of his story was correct. He was in her and my stepson's life. It doesn't prove the alleged ex or disprove an affair. The story very well could be true, and they had an affair on top of it. So, what I do know for sure is that my wife is a liar. Everyone has a different story because my wife has always been a liar. It seems like everything in her life is wound around lies. Should I confront her with this new information? How? Her parents are not going to speak with her about it until I get the chance to. They did not know we were divorcing and do not approve. This marriage is done. She's a pathological liar at best. She never trusted me enough to tell me the truth, something I could have found out if her parents slipped unknowingly. I am her husband. We've been together for 10 years and have 4 kids, but she didn't trust me. If we could get on good terms, we could at least have a decent shot at co-parenting. Just admit that we were wrong for each other and move on. How could I have spent a decade with her and not have seen this? Is she that good of a liar or am I just an idiot? My kids are stuck with her as their mother. She has always been guarded, never vulnerable. She has never talked to me when she is upset and doesn't tell me what's on her mind. Her communication is terrible. What is the truth? Who is she? Just because part of the story matches doesn't mean the rest is true. We all know my wife is a pathological liar. Her friend could be as well. She hid him from me for a reason. She wasn't really done with him. My mother-in-law said she always thought they would get back together. Telling her she can stop the act would get us on better terms to co-parent. My comment, was this a good ending or bad ending in your eyes? OP found out the truth, but at the cost of his family.